10 years ago, I wrote an article for bodybuilding.com called Gains of a Lifetime, how to gain 40 pounds of muscle in 1 year. Today, I want to put those claims to the test. I'll be evaluating the article based on 3 categories. Number 1, how has the science changed between then and now? 2, what's the effectiveness of those recommendations then compared to now? And lastly, how has my personal experiences and growth changed over the years? Step 1 is to have a plan. This I 100% agree with. I've adapted a new saying that planning prevents piss poor performance. But what I would probably change looking at this article is I'm talking about like gaining 40 pounds in 1 year. I would have added more context to this because unless you're a complete beginner, it's hard to gain 40 pounds in 1 year. I think this is why I had a lot of haters, because I made it sound like anybody could gain 40 pounds in a year. I also, a couple of things that I would probably tweak a little bit is I talked about needing to know very specific things like your 1 rep max. You don't need to know your 1 rep max when you're starting out. Everything is gonna work in the gym. So I think that's just a little detail it sounded cool in the article, but it's not necessary when you're starting out. One analogy I love that I gave here was think of planning your transformation like a long cross-country road trip. You need to know where you're starting and you need to know where you're going, or you can take a lot of unnecessary detours. And especially in fitness these days, there's so many ways to get fit. I mean, you got CrossFit, you've got hybrid training now, you got power building, power lifting, bodybuilding. I think it's very confusing. So I would get very clear. If you want to gain muscle, like you need to focus on muscle building workouts, because some of those other things can have carryover to muscle, but it's not the straightest path towards just building a muscular physique. Another thing, I love seeing this. One neat thing looking back is that a lot of my beliefs have stayed the same as well, where I'm promoting mentorship and coaching. I'm a product of mentorship and coaching. And I talk about finding somebody who can write you a program and to shell out the money. Whatever your budget, I don't care if you do an app or a coach that charges more amount to get access to them, but I truly believe you'll get a better result having somebody write your program, because they'll find blind spots that you're missing and they'll anticipate how to change your program in ways that you would miss, so that you're actually following a program and not just a series of workouts. Workouts are free on the internet, but you don't need workouts. You need a program. So that's why I recommend hiring somebody for sure, because they'll organize those workouts in a skillful, organized way that build upon each other. Claim number 2 is focus. I can't agree with this more, because if you want to gain 40 pounds of lean muscle tissue, you can't be doing multiple sports, right? You can't be like getting ready for a marathon. You can't be trying out for your first triathlon. You have to maximize the muscle to fat ratio. You got to stay anabolic. So I think just having that singularity of focus is, this is the year I'm going to gain muscle. The goal isn't to become, a power lifter. The goal isn't to go do a CrossFit competition. It's to gain muscle tissue to my body. So just having singularity of focus of the actual end outcome you want to achieve. Focus on your goal. If you want 40 pounds in a year, you're going to be roughly gaining about a pound per week. And we want to manage that, because if you go too fast, you're going to pack on a ton of weight. You're going to wake up one day, look in the mirror, look like a melted candle. So we want to manage 1 pound per week to maximize the muscle to fat ratio. Next, focus on your priorities. If this is a priority of yours, something else might have to take a back seat. If you're trying to grow a second or third business, or you got young kids at home, you have to figure out what is the priority. There's no such thing as priorities. It's priorities prior to everything else. So if this is a priority, then you're gonna have to be prepared to make sacrifices in other areas. And I talked about this, and the last thing I talked about, which is something I want to double down on, is focusing on the goal at hand, right? In the process of gaining muscle, you'll get distracted. Oh man, I want to try to set a personal best in my deadlift. I want to set a personal record on my bench press or my squat. You can definitely get stronger in those movements. They'll have a correlation to gaining muscle, but those are separate endeavors. Strength, muscle, separate things. We have to have singularity of focus of what is the focus right now. Maybe next year we'll do a powerlifting show, etc. Stay focused, say yes to the one so that you can say no to the many. Step 3, I talk about do the work. Now here's what I would have clarified. I would have said do the right type of work at the right time. So work is a concept that everybody relates to, and it's like go haul ass in the gym, bust your butt, sweat, exhaust yourself. But work isn't what's necessary to transform your body, because not all work is created equal. You look in the business world, we have people work 16-hour days and they're still broke. And we have other people work, a couple hours a day and they're multimillionaires. So what's the difference? Not all work is created equal. Not all time in the gym is created equal. So I would have clarified more around the importance of progressing the type of work you're doing in the gym. And concepts that I really embrace is earning your volume. So a lot of people, when they start off, it's like, hey, let's train like Arnold 2 hours a day, 2 times a day. You got to earn that type of volume, right? And I actually give a good example here to kind of outline how to progress your volume, where I say in months 0 to 3, do full body workouts, all right? And then months 4 to 6, do 2-day splits, upper, lower. Months 7 to 9, do a 3-day split, push, pull, legs. And then months 10 to 12, then you graduate to 4-day splits, chest, calves, legs, shoulders, tries, back, buys. When you have that type of structure and that progression in volume, you're going to be able to get more from less. And that's the entire point around building muscle. We don't need to do more for the sake of doing more. We want to squeeze as much juice out of as little as possible. And this principle is really, really key, because anybody can go train for 2 hours. That's not hard, that's just long. That's just dumb. So I think I would have added more clarity around the type of work, and to make sure that we're just not reiterating that, let's just be the hardest worker in the gym. Like, what does that even mean? Claim number 4 is start juicing. You gotta juice, guys. You're not gonna make the gains unless you get on the testosterone, the Anavar, the Winstrol. You guys gotta start popping the pills. You gotta get on the Clen. Is it Clen or Tren? Clen is a fat burner. Holy crap. I don't know how people even keep up with this stuff. But if you're not juicing, guys, you're not gonna get the gains you're looking for, all right? The juicing that I'm talking about in this article is greens drinks. I totally forgot that I wrote a freaking recipe book called 101 Get Juiced Recipes. It's actually a bestseller. I made a lot of money from it. And there was a time where I was doing a lot of juicing. It's funny because I just asked for a juicer for Christmas, and me and my kids started juicing again. I love that I was talking about this. Not a lot of bodybuilders 10 years ago were talking about juicing. It was kind of like cool. It was like new. It was like bodybuilders juicing. Yeah, man. And the whole point was to get more micronutrients into your diet, get more vitamins, get more minerals. And we all understand the importance of that. But I really love juicing. And even today now, my kids and I do it in the morning times. And, even something as simple as like ginger, carrots, and apples and oranges. Like, oh my gosh, that is delicious. It's a lot of fun to do as well. So this is actually a bit of personal accountability. I feel like I want to get back to juicing just reading this. I kind of forgot how much of a role that played in my life. The simple hack to get more micronutrients, vitamins, minerals into your diet to help promote recovery, help promote hydration, just to help increase energy as well. You do got to keep an eye on the sugars, but I don't know anybody who's got fat juicing too often. Claim number 5 is rest. You got to rest, fellas. I know it's a non-sexy topic, but if you want to make 2 years of gains in 1, I don't think that's possible. But if you want to try, then rest is your unfair advantage. You see, when you're resting, that's when your body's recovering and you're setting yourself up to have a better workout so that you can break down more muscle tissue to rebuild even faster. The more you embrace rest, a part of the formula of gaining muscle, the better. All right, it's not what you do in the gym. It's how quickly you're recovering from session to session so you can do more in the gym, if that makes sense. And rest starts with at night. What time do you go to bed? What do you put in your body before you go to bed? The quality of your sleep. Rest in terms of week. How do you rest from session to session? How do you rest between body parts? I always found that 2 to 3 days on, 1 day off was the optimal recovery protocol for natural guys. So I'd take Thursdays and Sundays off. If you're advanced, rest every other day. If you're a beginner, if you're in intermediate, you could go 2 on, 1 off, 2 on, 2 off, repeat. But rest is a very individual thing as well. And guys who make the best gains have dialed this recipe in specifically for themselves. And then you also have rest after a training cycle. After a 6-week or 12-week training cycle, there should be a half a week or a full week off. After a year, there should be a 2-week break. I learned this from the world of athletics. A lot of us don't understand that if you want to increase your capacity, we have to have a substantial amount of time where the body fully recovers, like all the systems. And again, when you figure this out, it'll become your unfair advantage. Claim number 6 is to set specific and measurable goals. And this is so crucial. I love this line I use rifle bullets, not shotgun shells. And what I mean by that is everybody knows you need to eat more protein to gain muscle, right? So if you're not making gains in the gym, I got to eat more protein, but specifically how much? What gets measured gets managed, and what gets managed can get multiplied. So we need to build off of a foundation. So if you're currently having, 0.8 grams per pound of body weight, it's not like eat more protein, I'm just gonna eat more chicken. It's, all right, let's bump it up to 1 gram per pound of body weight, and let's see what happens, all right? Same with the weights in the gym, right? The gains are made off of the micro weights, not the big plates. What I mean by that is small changes, right? We don't have to add 25 pounds to our bench press today. We might just need to add an extra 5 pounds and hold that, and then go up another 5 pounds and hold that, because a big part about making gains is that you don't get hurt along the way. So when you're very specific and measurable, you can make sustainable changes that stick, and not like short-term changes that result in injury or burnout and ultimately set you back. Overall, pretty dang good article. I'd give it an A-. I'd love to hear, what would you grade it? Let me know below anything that you would add, anything you would have left out, anything that's changed that I didn't know. For me, the name of the game is longevity. It's not about how big you are right now. It's about, are you building in a way that can last? Are you going to be fit in your 50s, 60s, 70s? Or is what you're doing right now leading to injuries, burnout, and even perhaps an early death? Let's focus on the long term. Let's do this in a slow and a sustainable way. In my opinion, that's the way to go. See you next time. Until next time, keep leveling up or you're going to level off.